Hello everyone and welcome back once again to the channel. I hope you are all having a fantastic day today. It is finally here. As of Tuesday the 28th of September, Asobo finally released the long anticipated Junkers JU-52 after it was delayed just before the release of World Update 6. This aircraft is the first member of the so-called local legends, which are aircraft made by Asobo Studio from a certain country and time period that will be released along with a world update for the country or region that the aircraft originated from. World Update 6 implemented a lot of improvements for Germany and its southern neighbors, so the Junkers is the ideal aircraft for the role of local legends, as it was a mass-produced aircraft in Germany during the 1930s and throughout the 1940s, and saw use as both a commercial, military, and if I'm not mistaken also private aircraft. You can buy this aircraft from the in-game marketplace for merely 15 euros, give or take. So if you want to get your hands on it yourself, head on over there. I highly recommend you pick it up as it is a very fun aircraft to fly. It is by no means a study level airplane, but for only 15 euros you do get more than your money's worth. You not only get a very decent quality aircraft, but also 4 different variants. If you're the type of person who loves historical accuracy, you'll definitely enjoy the 1930s variant, since it has the original cockpit layout and all of the original gauges. There is one catch though. Since it comes with original gauges and switches, the text on all of the dials is written in German, so that makes finding a way around the cockpit quite difficult if German is not your native language. I personally wasn't able to get the engine started without doing a bunch of research, only to then realize the aircraft actually comes with a handy dandy checklist that would have spared me a lot of time when I was watching a German tutorial on how to fly this aircraft. And the reason why I had to look at a German video was because I couldn't find any English videos on the classic variant of this aircraft. And so that's why in this video I'm going to show you guys the startup process for the Junkers JU-52 to make it easier for people who are experiencing the same issue as I was. Now you might be thinking, why make a tutorial about how to start the engines when everyone can just follow the checklist in the sim? Well, that is a fair point to some extent, but I find following the checklist to be a very time-consuming way to start up the aircraft, and I do believe showing you guys the process will help you to get really familiar with the aircraft, so you don't have to use the checklist, which will make your flights much more time effective. And besides, my most popular video on this channel was a tutorial on how to use the autopilot in the CRJ. Literally hundreds of videos have been made about how to use autopilots in airplanes, and frankly, if you know one of them, you practically know all of them. But still I got over 12,000 views, so it seems to me you guys enjoy my tutorials regardless. A little disclaimer though before we get started. I am by no means an actual Junkers pilot, and I wasn't really able to gather much information about the actual function of every switch in the cockpits, so I won't be able to explain to you guys what every single button does. Frankly, I can only show you guys what you need to do to get this aircraft in a ready for taxi state. But honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing, so please do not expect an in-depth explanation from me on every single switch and gauge. If you really want to know the detailed function of everything in the cockpit, then I recommend you buy an actual manual, or if you know a way to get a free manual, do let us know in the comment section below. Now with that out of the way, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are getting closer to 500 subs every single week, so if you haven't already, go ahead and do a touch and go on that big red subscribe button. And also make sure you got your notifications turned on so you never miss new content. A big thanks to all of the people who are already subbed to this channel. It really helps me out a lot to spread my content to other like-minded sim pilots and aviation enthusiasts. It's so nice to see how my very small channel has grown so much in a relatively short period, and I hope it will keep going like this. For now the goal is to get to 500 subs. Now I have been talking for quite some time, so let's wrap it up and get to the actual subject of this video, which you guys undoubtedly all came for. So guys, here we are. We are currently parked at St. Gallen Altenrhein Airport, which is one of the airports that got an update uh, thanks to World Update 6. This was one of the handcrafted airports. Seems like a nice little airport to do this tutorial in, since the aircraft that we are learning today is an actual German aircraft, so But hold on. Might just be a Swiss airport, so close enough. Not exactly Germany, but Switzerland was also one of the airport countries, sorry, that got an update, so doesn't really matter where we do this tutorial. This just seems like a pretty nice airfield to do it at, so that's what we are going with today. So let's jump into the cockpit, shall we? Here we are inside the cockpit of the Junkers JU-52. Honestly, it's a very nice cockpit, I must say, for such an old aircraft. I am quite well into these types of aircraft. They just look very nice despite their age, so yeah. This is the aircraft that we are going to learn to start up today. So let me just get the yoke out of the way first of all. And for the first couple of times when you try to start this aircraft, I do recommend you use the instrument tooltips. They are quite obnoxious normally, but for an aircraft like this, where all of the gauges are in another language other than English, they do come in quite handy. So I do recommend you use the tooltips just so you can get the hang of the aircraft, and after that you can just turn them off again, whatever you like. But yeah, I'm going to grab the checklist very quickly, and I'm just going to put that on my other monitor. Not really going to use it much today, but I'm just going to use it as a reference so I am sure that I don't miss anything during this tutorial. So yeah, the first thing that you want to do when you get inside this aircraft, first let me just turn off the lights again because that's also a part of the checklist. So yeah, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go down here. As you can see, here is the battery. You want to press that and then close the cover. Then what you want to do is you want to go up here. These are all of your lights. So we want the position lights or the F lights, and apart from that we do not need anything else, I think. Here you can see an amp meter for the electrical system and also a voltmeter there. So we want to make sure that our throttles are in the idle position, oil and fuel supply levers are off, which they are. Then we want to make sure that the parking brake is set, which it is now. Pitot heater, for some reason with my current setup this doesn't work. So if I try to turn on the pitot heat, it just glitches out on me. So pitot heater indicator is off. I think that's this indicator right here. And yeah, flight controls, they are free and correct, of course. Can check them real quickly just to be sure. Yeah, everything seems good to go there. So to actually start these engines, I'm actually going to put away the checklist now because we don't really need it for the tutorial anyway. It's quite simple to start this aircraft up once you get the hang of it, and the order of the steps that we are going to do the startup process doesn't really matter that much, so let's just do it without the checklist, shall we? So let's go to this big red button here. This is the master starter. You want to push this in, and we want to turn all of the ignitions to the spät setting, which stands for later. And we also want to set the magnetos to both. So that's the middle position. And I believe we also want to push these caps. Don't know what they do, but you have to push them in order to start your engines. Then down here we are going to select these levers to the fully backwards position. We can also turn on the fuel pump. Then down here can leave all of the cowl flaps and the lubricant cooler, we can leave them all in the 2 position, which is closed, I believe. We do need the nebulizer, whatever that may be, and we also need the injection shutoff valve in the open position. So that's everything there. Can set our barometric pressure by just pressing B. That's quite special about this aircraft, that it has two altimeters. One that is a little bit more accurate and one that is for um, higher altitudes. So that's quite nice. Yeah, the mixture is in the full rich position, which where it needs to be. And also this lever right here, it doesn't seem that it actually does anything during the startup process, but according to the checklist we need to put this down. So this is the wobble pump. Again, I have no idea what this does, and it doesn't seem to work in this aircraft for some reason, but we can push it down anyway. So that's everything you need to do in order to start your engine successfully. At least I hope so. So let's go ahead and start our first engine, which is the right engine. So here goes nothing. And there we go, we have a good start on engine number 1. As you can see here, the RPM gauge, and this is, I believe, the manifold pressure. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, it's a very quiet airplane, but the engine is in fact running. So once you got that, you just repeat the process for all two other engines. That's the left engine there. Attitude indicator just came to life. And now for the final engine, which is the unique nose engine there. And there we go. So guys, that's literally everything you need to do. It's actually not that difficult once you get the hang of it. You don't even need to use the checklist, to be honest. It's just to get yourself familiarized with the aircraft. But after that you can just do it all from memory. So yeah, we can now close these covers. The nebulizer and injection shutoff valve can go back to the closed position. And everything else, I believe, can stay in the position. Oh, one thing we forgot is to turn on the beacon light, which is again down here. That's this light right here. And because I use the Honeycomb Throttle Alpha yoke system, I do need to actually select my beacon light to the on position on my yoke. Otherwise I can't select it in the sim itself. And now that we have started the aircraft, we can also turn on our taxi light, which has quite a awkward position in this aircraft. As you can see, it is between your two legs down here, and if I turn on the landing light, it's one position to the left, and if I turn the taxi light off, it's all the way to the right. So yeah, that's quite unique again. Yeah, before we taxi out, we also need to set our flaps. So there we go, guys. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it a little bit helpful, even though some other people have already made their own videos about the startup process, which might be simpler than mine. But anyway, I hope you just enjoyed the video and that you learned something today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, like I said in the beginning of the video, be sure to do a touch and go on that subscribe button. Also, like and share the video. It's really, all of those things help me out a lot to get my content across to a lot more people in the aviation community, which is ultimately the goal of this whole channel. That's the reason why I started making videos, so I could entertain you guys with content like this. So it would be very much appreciated if you could support the channel by sharing, liking, subscribing to the channel, and just commenting down below in the comments what you think about my videos. That would be greatly appreciated as well. So yeah, for now that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.